everybody, this is Alex, and welcome back to another Single Player Sunday. First off, I wanted to just clear the air from our last Color Jumper video. Sorry to Ben Burns for not also saying he was the developer of the game, as well as making the music, and really just doing everything. So today we're going to be trying something a little different. Instead of the typical video with gameplay and a live reaction, instead we're going to have a discussion. After rewatching some of the single player stuff and realizing that the live discussion really just amounted to I thought it might be better to record something after the fact. Well, it is still talking over video games. You know what? I don't know if this is actually any different, but in any case, you're here and I'm here. The question is, though, if what I'm saying now just ends up being exposition, or the meaningful discussion that I'm trying to have just ends up being as dumb as the live commentary you would usually get, is there any point anyway? Well, that's the end of the video. See you next time. Well, that was dumb. So, meaningful discussion. Well, I guess one thing we could talk about is an idea of embracing the distance between where you are and where you want to be. It actually sounds kind of pretentious, but just go with me on this. So what do I mean by embracing the distance between where you are and where you want to be? Well, why don't I start off with a personal example? When I was younger, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself. Typical for most kids, right? I got through the phase of wanting to be a train conductor, of wanting to be a vet, of wanting to be a train, the whole thing. At this point, I was kind of just floating, but then I got my first guitar. From then on, I had this vague notion of wanting to be in a band, going on tour, performing on stages for lots of people. And as I've gotten older, still pursuing music in some way or another, I've realized that I've never really gotten that. The touring, performing thing. In a way, I guess you could call that a failure? I mean, if we're going by the original metaphor of distance from where you are to where you want to be, I wanted to achieve this one thing and didn't reach it. So, I got part of the way between point A and point B, but I actually didn't even get to point B. But if you frame it non-linearly, it looks less like a failure and more of a change in direction. Instead of just getting stuck between point A and point B, I kind of ended up somewhere in the middle and off to the side. Even though I haven't really gotten those feathers in my cap yet, I've picked up things along the way that I wouldn't have otherwise been aware of had I not gone into music in the first place. It's also kind of a micro-macrocosm thing for the guitar. As you learn, or as I try to teach, you make progress in multiple directions. You start with the mechanics of playing a note, then tuning, strumming, reading by tab and staff, and continue to make progress in different angles. It becomes less of a getting an A for guitar class, and more of continually improving at your skills on the instrument. Is this whole thing to say, however, that there's no point in having an end goal? That you should just be happy with whatever you end up with? Well, not necessarily. And this also isn't to say that you can't bridge that gap between where you are and where you want to be. I could be a part of a super famous band, or multimedia, and reach my goal of performing and touring. If anything, it's about appreciating how far you've come in whatever you're doing. So, did that make any sense? And not in a, oh, herder, I'm so sorry, this is so complicated. But does the idea of embracing the distance between where you are and where you want to be make logical sense? Does the idea of a non-linear progression work with things outside of music? Does it even work with things like music? And is there a way to combine both linear and non-linear progression? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a discussion.